Me. I am a memoir. I said a memoir. The meaning of the meaning of Mariah Carey.
Hi, Emily. Welcome back to the continuation of Mariah Carey's blockbuster movie. It is the 20th anniversary of the film Glitter, so we are celebrating it by watching it. Last week here on Me, I Am a Memoir, the meaning of Mariah Carey. Myself, Fab, and yourself, Posh, broke down most of it, but we are now into the ugly back end. Which is also, I think, the way Mariah refers to regular people.
Oh my God.
So all we're doing is breaking it on down with a poshnopsis.
Bring me on down. Oh my God. Now, last week.
Poshnopsis! Sorry.
I did realize after last week that, we were barreling through it, but it's kind of the nature of the movie. So
it is. The movie is like a very long montage.
Yeah. So I'm sorry if, everyone was sick of my voice, but it's just how it happens, okay?
It is, but it's amazing.
Oh my God. All right. We're just going to smash straight into the next scene. A jealous guy.
A jealous guy.
So Deuce mocks Raphael, whose name we still don't know.
Yes.
And in Mariah's best line read so far, and I mean this sincerely, she tells him to stop it.
Yes.
When she said it, I was like, oh, I believed that. Hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on. Did we just show up today? Is that what is happening? Now, Deuce is like, he only wants to write a song with you because you dress like a hoe.
Oh.
Even though she's probably the most dressed she's been in the entire movie, and he bought her that dress.
Yeah, he did buy that dress.
So Roxy tells him to leave her alone, and Deuce calls her Mouth, which is now her name.
Yeah.
Debrat is like, lols, you don't produce her anymore. And then Deuce says he's produced more than a body pop, hitting her where it hurts in the body pops.
Yeah.
It's like, boom, you can't even do that properly. I've done more than that. I've doubled more than that.
That's mean.
And he calls her fat ass, which now would be a compliment, but back then it was offensive, to be clear.
Yeah, apparently. There's 8 kinds of problematic things going on in
Oh
this
my
movie.
God. Well, now Mouth's name is Roachbag. Like, that was a quick sidestep to Mouth, but now your name's Roachbag, which is my favorite name so far.
Where does that even come from?
I don't know.
You know what it is? It's a PG insult. I keep forgetting that this is a PG film, so no one's allowed to take drugs.
Yeah. Mouth.
And fall asleep on the couch. And no one's allowed to say big swears.
No. And panties must be 7 meters long.
Yes. So now it's and when anyone's naked, it has to be behind frosted glass.
Yeah. Which is kind of my sex life anyway.
Yeah.
So
I keep forgetting it's a PG film.
I know. They pull over and Debrat and Roachbag get out, but Mariah doesn't, because that's her name now.
I know.
So Roachbag does an
I'm
epic
just calling
180.
her the other one.
The other one, yeah.
Like, when that Lady Marmalade song where
I'm
it's like Pink, Christina, Little Kim, and the other one.
The other one. I feel like there might be a couple of the other ones in that. But so Mariah doesn't get out, and Roachbag does an epic 180 and storms off. Like the shoulder acting in that moment.
It's some pretty epic shoulder acting, because she brings her handbag with her. In the pivot.
I think the handbag is its own actor.
Yeah. It's getting an Emmy.
So
this wasn't on TV.
That's that scene, even though it is kind of this other scene, but this other scene has its own name, which is I'm Sorry.
I'm sorry.
So this is going to be your favorite part, because Mariah sobs over the toilet paper.
Yes, she has some wipes her nose.
And
in this year of 2021, where toilet paper is as scarce as gold, this is a really extravagant scene.
Yeah, this is the most expensive scene in the movie.
I just love. I reckon Mariah's gone, no, it needs to be toilet paper because that's real. I'm real.
Oh, she's what?
She's realistic.
We've done this joke before, but it's still funny to get you on it. I just wrote as if she's ever had a booger. Unlikely.
Very unlikely.
She has people coming to remove anything like that while she sleeps.
I love her blowing the nose with the toilet paper. Also, can someone explain to me why Dice does not have clothes on half the time? Like, he's always wearing like an like a cut off singlet thing or a t-shirt with like where his arms are on display, or as he wore at the party, a leather jacket with no shirt. Like, I always
because he's Marky Mark now.
I just think of him, yeah, but Marky Mark has a rig. I just think of him as, have you ever seen Waiting to Exhale?
No.
Which stars HRH Whitney Houston. At one point, someone just screams at this guy who's standing there calling up. She goes, "Don't come around to my house screaming at me, you leather jacket in summertime wearing, no shirt." It's just the best. Like, it's like, yeah, why is he dressed like that? You idiot. But yeah, I don't understand the leather jacket and no shirt. It's like there's oh my God, I used to work with a guy who wore t-shirts and a scarf. I'm like,
well, his family. Yeah? Would he be a family member? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's not...
Like, I remember going to the Peel once and there was a guy on with a scarf and had no shirt on. And I'm like, this makes no sense to me whatsoever. There's nothing functional happening wearing a scarf with no shirt. Like a big, thick woolen scarf.
I hope it's the Lenny Kravitz one.
Oh, the infinity scarf. Yeah. I love the infinity scarf.
All right.
Anyway, sorry.
That's okay.
I got distracted by Dice's concave chest.
Oh, my God. So Deuce apologizes and they snog on the floor. Billy Stripe is on her shoulder arm area again.
Yes.
Bill Raya finds her mum who goes full "You Don't Know Me" and sings in the streets, but maybe it's not actually her mum. Oh, well. Screech? Nope. Don't think so.
Not her. Stop playing the record.
Now we've got another scene which is called Timothy Stops By. I can't imagine what happens in this scene. Bill Raya does some shopping and Mariah does some heaven plastic bag acting.
Yes.
She's like, oh, yes, quite. So Timothy is just randomly at the apartment being all creepy.
By the way, how creepy is Terrence Howard in this scene?
So creepy.
Like, it is like, this is one of the most effective scenes in this movie. I'm like, oh no, I want to watch a whole horror movie about Terrence Howard just happening to be in your house.
Yeah, even the plastic bags are shaking. Mariah's over there jiggling them.
This is how you do shopping, isn't it?
Yeah. I got milk and nothing else has to go in the fridge. Nothing.
I've been to the shops once with Debrat. We got chips.
Oh my God. I got a bagel one time. The other time I didn't.
Yeah, the other time I caught the train.
Because I had the Subway. Not Subway, the sandwich. The train. Timothy tells Bill Raya about the $100,000 deal and grabs her cheeks. And he's like, "Would you, you're so cute." And tells her, "I don't want to hurt you, but I will." And I just wrote, that escalated quickly.
When she revealed in the book that she wanted him to play the part of Dice, I'm like, he would have been so much more terrifying in his moments where he just got sick and was an asshole. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. And he probably would have remembered Raphael's name. So Deuce comes home and Bill Raya is mad and tells him what happened, except that she doesn't want to tell him, but then she does. And then Deuce leaves. Deuce, this isn't even a poshnopsis anymore. This is just the script. Yeah. Deuce punches Timothy as he leaves his apartment and the cops appear. But they can't really show any of that because it's PG.
I love also, this is the only time where a white man has beaten up a black man and the police arrested the white man.
That's true. It's breaking down barriers everywhere.
This is some fantasy world.
So Bill Raya is at the show, which I thought was meant to be the USA show, but it seems to be some other show, and needs some sweet Derek Jeter honey.
She's now doing late night live.
Yes.
Like not Saturday Night Live.
No, it's because it's late.
Yeah.
But it's at night and it is live, but it's not really.
It's not real.
Because it's not real and she's probably miming.
Yeah.
So
no, she was getting honey. She was going to actually sing.
That's true. She's getting her throat ready to mime.
Yeah.
And then she asks publicist to call Deuce. She pours no water into a mug and casually squeals. I, at this point, envisioned Mariah having whistle-offs with the kettle at home. Like, whenever the tea is ready, she's like, is it ready? And she's, but did you notice? She's just like, look at me pouring my tea, wink. There's nothing in here.
Tea acting.
And then she just does a gentle whistle. Just, that's my warm-up, done.
Warm-up's done.
So Mariah watches some slapstick.
I was backstage with Enrique Iglesias.
Is the tarp down?
The tarp's down. And he did a weird squealing warm up. Like,
there are some weird things you've got to do.
Yeah, I know. It was like, I'm like, okay.
He's just the fire alarm at that apartment we were at. I was just playing some Enrique Iglesias. So Mariah watches some slapstick when a cute guy interrupts and tells Mariah she has a phone call. And again, it's that thing of like...
phone call. I had a line before about press pound to come and get me.
Yes, exactly. And on the phone, it's Deuce. He's been arrested. And so the best thing that you would do is take the publicist to get him from the station together.
Yeah.
Like, that totally makes sense.
Yes.
And the photographers are everywhere because of course they would be.
Because the publicist was coming. She ran ahead.
Karen Diana, a.k.a. Gail Hailstorm, reports live from the scene.
Gail Hailstorm.
Now we're already into a different scene, even though Gail Hailstorm is still reporting. Because this one's called Billy Leaves Deuce.
Oh.
So Mariah watched the report from home. Deuce apologizes and Mariah is over it.
Yeah.
And struts to get her shit. Like, she struts.
She's
does.
Like,
I've got to take the catwalk to my purse. They have a fight and Mariah is like, don't blame me for your failure.
Oh.
Boom. And Deuce is like, your butt and your high notes aren't all that. And also, your mama.
Your mama.
And she slaps him and leaves.
She gave him a good walloping.
But he chases her and she grabs Westbury the cat, who I guess is back from the dry cleaners.
He's grown up a little. He
and then she leaves. Yeah, but she also wore him as a pink.
Oh, that's right.
Thing. I have more continuity in this Poshnopsis than the film itself. And then Mariah heads over to Roachbag and to Bratz.
Yep.
Roachbag. So the next one is called Want You.
Oh.
Mariah naps while Deuce writes on his keyboard. Mariah walks around New York, and now we're in the studio. Okay. Jeff Bridges takes her to where Raphael is, still don't know his name, where he's chilling, and in the most Mariah moment yet, she tells Jeff, I'm going to kill you, through her teeth.
Yeah.
And I actually wrote, I don't think she could be bothered being Billy on this day. No. She just decided to be Mariah.
And because it's perfect.
Her hair is Mariah.
Yeah.
Her interaction is Mariah. She's like, I don't know. I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Maybe this was the first or the last scene shot. She's like, oh, whatever. So Mariah and Raphael sit down to write, and I undress him with my eyes. Damn. Because I was like looking at his shirt the whole time, like, just take it one more button off. It's fine.
I know. You can see why Halle Berry went there and went there and went there.
Right. I mean, I'd probably sleep with Halle Berry just so I could say, by association.
He's a very attractive man.
And so is Raphael. They do the classic mumbling of a melody, like. That's good.
Okay, let's record it.
And this is all Mariah, like I said. So then Mariah has some lollies because she's a little lightheaded. Yeah. Raphael is like, we're going to leak this to radio stations this week. And, because no one plans anything in this world. It just happens.
That the recording of this song was entirely, let's sing a little bit of it before we record it, and then the rest of it was sitting listening to it.
Yeah. Isn't that how you record? That's how I record songs. Okay. I just write like a verse and then I just play Mariah into my microphone.
Yeah.
And then I master it.
Yeah. I just love that we missed the whole recording bit. It's like Yeah, let's just sit here and listen to it. It feels more real.
You miss everything in this movie.
I know.
Like, everything that doesn't happen is what you should be seeing.
I know.
I think that this is the cutting room floor accidentally got released.
Yeah. This is what we had left.
Yeah, there you go.
Mariah didn't turn up that day, so this is what we taped.
So the next scene is a melody for Billy.
A melody for Billy.
The new song and Bill Ryan's album and number one. We didn't see any of it happening because that was in the real movie. And her show at Madison Square Garden sells out in 20 minutes. Because remember, that's where Dice said she would play.
Yeah.
Wow, callback.
Yeah.
Now, Deuce sees this in the paper. Cool.
He's reading Billboard.
Right. Meanwhile, Bill Ryan, not to be confused with Billboard, calls Deuce on her chunky fire engine phone. He screens it, but doesn't leave a message. But she doesn't leave a message.
And then just when he picks up, she's hung up.
Did he? I don't think he did.
He picks it up.
He did? Oh, I missed that. I was watching the director's, not cut, but like the director's should have been included. Deuce sits down to write a melody on the keyboard while Bill Ryan writes some lyrics. And OMG, it's totes the same song.
They're writing the same song.
Like, what? This is amazing. Now, this is still the same scene. Weirdly, this part doesn't get its own scene.
I know. So
in rehearsal, the dancers are slapping while Bill Ryan mimes again, except the mic has interference, so now she can't mime anymore, guys.
Yeah.
Bill Ryan cracks it, and DeBrat tackles the publicist, allowing Bill Ryan to get away.
Yeah. She escapes. Yeah. She escapes her rehearsal.
Because she needs to go get some chips.
Yeah.
Deuce goes out for a stroll at the same time Bill Ryan does.
Yep.
And she goes to the apartment and lets herself in, where she discovers Melody for Billy and smushes his song and her song together. And she's like, oh my God, this is genius. And oh my God, stop, no way. He also purchased a ticket to my show.
Oh.
So Bill Ryan makes out with...
front.
Right? So she makes out with the sheet music and signs it B. No, I can't let it have power over me.
I'm just going to sign this bit of sheet music. There we go. B in a love heart.
Why? Every time. It's so dumb and it makes me laugh. Okay. So, yeah, she writes the beat on her heart. Then she takes a photo with her as she walks out, just as Deuce walks in, but a strategically placed mattress stops them from seeing each other, even though there was a good 9.5 minutes time where they would have been visible to each other.
I know.
It's just the one angle they shot was like, you probably can't.
Like, the moving van, I first thought, oh my God, he's moved out. She's going to go there and it's someone else's house. But no, he's still
who just happened to write a song for her.
And had his marimbula.
Yeah. Ding Dong had moved in because it was warmer.
Weird callback.
So stupid. All right. The next scene is called Payback.
Payback.
So Deuce comes into the apartment. He sees that Bill Ryan has pashed his song and he's happy. Now he's outside walking again, even though he just went for a walk.
He just got back.
And Timothy is like, hey, Deuce, and bam, shoots him dead. But who cares, because Bill Ryan's name is up in lights at Madison Square Gardens.
Oh, so quick.
It's PG, we didn't have, it was just like, oh, what? You held a fun toy to my chest, and now there's lights.
Yeah.
So the phone rings, and the publicist, everybody is chanting for Bill Ryan.
Bill Ryan.
Right? And backstage, the entire cast, except for Bill Ryan and the one who died and the one who shot the dead, they're there. Because they had to be there. And
it's their first big concert. Everyone has to go.
And the phone rings and publicist is told that Deuce is dead. They turn on the TV and they see the reports. And I like to assume that just for a minute, they think that Billy did it. Like, she's had enough. She's over it. He dissed her mum's ring. And she's a child. So I didn't like your song. Boom. So just as they turn on the news, Bill Ryan stands there and her eyes say that she definitely saw it.
Yeah.
Her eyes are like, I'm open and I saw that. television just then.
Saw the TV and I'm having an emotion.
Yeah. Now straight to the next scene. There's no time, guys, because we are running out of running time.
She's already late
for
the
scene
concert.
Is called, big surprise, Never Too Far. Mariah has changed into sequins and heads to the stage looking sad, but also not really. The dancers start Loverboy, and Mariah walks out on the stage and stops the music with her hand.
And she has the glitter stripe under the back of her shoulder.
Heaven. Yeah. I love that no one backstage is communicating at all.
No.
No, they have walkie-talkies. They can, but they're like, no, it's fine. We don't need to know anything.
Hand up. Shush. Shushy. She gave them the big shushy.
Yeah, that's what it's called, the big shushy.
This chapter should have been called the big shushy.
Yeah. So Mariah gives a 10-second speech, which is longer than Deuce has actually been dead, and then hurls directly into Never Too Far, giving a perfect rendition, even though she's never actually sung it, and the band has no idea what's happening. But sure, fuck it, whatever.
This is what I love. They wrote the song together psychically, without seeing each other or speaking about it.
Yeah.
And now the entire orchestration is arranged psychically.
Yeah.
And there's a lighting plot.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
Was arranged. Even though she was about to do a dance number, the lighting plot apparently fits.
Yeah. And she has known about this for negative 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like she actually hasn't found out yet.
No.
If that makes sense in this space. Because we're watching the movie on fast forward.
Yeah.
That's how they bashed it out, the final. That's like, it goes 3.5 hours. Oh, that's fine. Just put it on double time. No one will know. We're American. We speak slow. Meanwhile, the audience has no idea what happened either. But they're like, great, new song. He's our lighters.
I love this. This is a great ballad.
All right. Now, did she leave the stage straight after this song, or did she do the entire concert?
I presume she did the whole concert.
I need to see that movie where she just goes from that to anyway back to regular scheduled program. Bounce out into some Loverboy. All right. Now
I do love that she had a massive lighting change during the key change. It was like a proper Eurovision moment. It was very spectacular. Spectacular.
So without missing a beat, we have a new scene.
Yeah.
She's backstage. She's done the concert. This scene is called A Note from Deuce. So Mariah finds a card backstage with a red rose. Because remember, like the one on their date?
Yeah, like the one on the date that she had to sniff deeply to
and it's like
his horrific cologne.
Snorted that one, so I got you another one.
Yep.
But I'm also dead. So that's what his letter said.
He sent a letter from the dead.
I know. So in the back of the limo, Mariah reads Juice's letter, which says, I miss you and shit. Also, I found your mum. And she's clean and sober, and I'm deaf's gonna be there to meet her with you. And also I'll be there after the show. Lols.
No. Toad's dead. Totally dead.
Now we get the final scene.
But also, didn't he say she was in upstate? Was she in upstate New York? I thought she was in like Massachusetts.
She's in Maryland.
In Maryland. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so that's not
Maryland.
that far away. Like it's
I have something to say about this.
Okay.
So the final scene, mother/daughter reunion, which should have been called "I did the best that I could." So Mariah has a nap in the limo and wakes up when it's daytime in Maryland.
This
even
poor
though
limo driver,
right?
Driving all night.
So I've written, even though they probably left at like 11 p.m. after the concert, and it's only a 4-hour drive, I literally put it in from Madison Square Garden to Maryland. It's 3 hours and 50 minutes, but it's like super daytime now. It's like lunchtime.
Well, she had to sleep. Maybe the driver stopped off to get something to eat.
Well, I had to get some fries.
Yeah.
And so Mariah gets out of the limo, and her mum is just chilling on the doorstep, having not aged a day.
No.
Because she got sober. So when you get sober, you don't age anymore.
No, being on drugs ages you, and getting off them makes you go back to the age you were meant to be before the drugs.
That definitely doesn't permanently cause any damage.
No. That's what happens. As soon as you stop, fresh as a daisy.
Absolutely. Like when you're sleeping, you look stunning.
I do love this scene because no one has told Mariah, this scene is going to be on grass, and she's gone, I'll just go in the ball gown and the spiked heels anyway.
Yeah. And I can just look down at my feet during this moment, the whole scene.
Because she's almost falling over the whole scene. She keeps sinking into the fucking dirt.
So the mum sort of begins sort of slowly run galloping to Bill Ryer from the porch. And Bill Ryer is playing with her ring. Because remember, this was her mother's.
Was my mother's. I never saw her without it, but now she's without it, and I've got it.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is.
And I've loved it that much.
This. So they cry hug, and Mariah single tears. Like she's acting more crying, but she just single tears.
Yeah.
Because it's on brand.
Yeah.
Then we get a shot of the football oval, which her mum lives next to.
Yeah.
And Mariah not acting anymore because she's like, I need you, that my mum, little Trisha, I need you to get me out of the grass. So I think they've called Cart. Like that helicopter is shooting something. I don't know what it is. I need you to call Cart. So can you just walk me to the porch? And here's your can opener. And then bam, end credits, feet lead the way.
Lead the way.
I'm not going to talk anymore.
Last night a DJ saved my life, and we get a lot of Buster Bust over there.
I will say, just an update on Glitter. It's probably the album I've listened to the most after an episode of ours. I've had it on in the car.
Yeah, I've had it running through my head a lot as well.
Yeah.
I had Loverboy stuck in my head, like won't get out.
So dumb. That's been cool because it's like, I think that's what I meant about it being consistent. You can just kind of have it on.
Yeah.
Even the songs that aren't my favourite are kind of already growing. So we'll see.
Like All My Life has really been jammed to All My Life, All My Life, All My Life, All My Life. Disco flute, everyone.
Oh, it's the Cause remix. So before we get into our overall thoughts, I wanted to give everyone a little on what the actors think of this movie, courtesy of Wikipedia.
Oh.
So I did a lot of searching into this because this was a lot for me to write. Okay, guys. So I couldn't do much else.
Must be exhausting.
My throat has left the building.
Yes.
So Mariah has called it a kitsch moment in history, but says it was a horrible couple of years and she had to get her momentum back before people could let it go because it was kind of constant. And apparently she refused to hear the word and people around her had to refer to it as the G word.
The G word.
It's the G word. The regular G word. I don't know.
But we love it.
So Max Beasley said it was a disaster, but acknowledged that there had been some heavy-duty drama in the film and Mariah really showed her acting boots. But they cut it all out and he almost cried when he saw it. So this totally goes into my theory that this is not the real movie. It's a different movie. They accidentally sent the recycle bin file to be at the movie places.
It is weird. Like
Now this was the most interesting to me. Tia Texada, who plays Roachface. I nearly called her Bin Juice. I forgot. Roxanne said that it was a disaster from the time she, as in herself, got there, and that working with Mariah was really hard.
Oh.
And I was like, okay. There was mentions of things to do with Debrat, but they weren't really related to the movie. But I'm not sure how well they know each other anymore.
Oh.
Because there might have been a slight... what was his name? What's the guy who's going to bail us out of prison? Suge Knight.
Out of prison. Oh, yeah.
Debrat had a bit of a Suge Knight moment with a rum bottle and may have gone away for a little while. And then hasn't worked with Mariah since. So, there's a little meme moment that I just found out.
So they're friends, but they're not allowed to work together.
Maybe. I think things are similar with Brenda K. Starr. Which I think had more to do with Tommy. But anyway. Yeah. And Terrence Howard, sort of going against what Tia Texada said, that the experience and getting to know Mariah was better than the actual product. So he had fun doing it. it just didn't kind of turn out.
Yeah. And if this was an early role for him, like this was before he was Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
So this was,
And I knew he was in it, and I remember, but when we were reading the book, I didn't click that, because, she talked about him maybe playing dice.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, oh, she's obviously then said, oh, no, he can play this other character.
Yeah.
But I just didn't sort of put that together in that moment. So I did do a little summary, but would you like to touch on anything that we may have missed?
No, I still enjoy looking for the silver stripes and where they are.
Yeah.
Like every time I watch it, I'm like, where's the stripe?
It's like, where's Wally?
It is like, where's Wally?
Where's
It's like,
Mimi?
where's the silver stripe? Where's the glitter stripe?
I wonder what it's about.
Why I think it's just her, I don't know. Some character thing that they forgot to mention in the script, like the old mate's name.
Yeah, I know. When we, like, this is the thing. When we go and do a little commentary together in a live action kind of format,
Yes.
we'll have to be noticing all of these things. And I really don't think that they say his name.
I don't think they say his name.
Even though he has a scene named after him.
I know. Yeah. Like his character has, like, there are so many characters who have almost no development. And everyone always says exactly what they're feeling, like a soap opera.
Yeah.
Also, structurally, it makes very little sense. It's like, I get the idea that she's become famous and he's become resentful, but the way they show that happening is like his reasons for being resentful are nonsensical.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, she has to dance with those people. That's the video clip. That's how it works. He's behaving like that there's some sort of, sexual threat happening. And it's like, no, it's the video clip. This is how it works. And whereas he's like, they're all over her. We've got to stop it. It's like, well, she's doing her job. Like, if you object to the content or the delivery of this particular video, then maybe voice that. But he just comes across as a dickhead. Yeah. And then when they're at the party and she's talking to Eric Benet and it's like he's totally threatened by that and has his Quincy moment, you're just like, where's your actual reason for being shitty? Like,
yeah.
Like, it just feels, we never get the real kind of reason behind why he feels like this, like why he feels so threatened by all these other people. It's not okay.
I think he might just be a cardboard cutout along with the rest of the cast. So
I know.
I did write a bit of a spiel which talks probably on some of these things. I'm not going to read it word for word. I'll just kind of go through my points.
No, please do.
Oh, okay. It's not even funny. It's just kind of the truth. Right. All right. So I said that this is the second time that I've seen this movie, and both times I could not get through it in one sitting.
Oh, wow.
The first time was simply because I was like, what the hell is happening? The second time was simply because I was taking notes and it took much longer.
Yes.
But I did enjoy it more the second time.
Yeah.
Because I knew what I was in for.
Once you know the ending, like when you know that Dice is going to die, I find I enjoy him much more.
Yeah.
So don't get him for
awesome. Long. When he dies 3.5 minutes before the end.
I'm excited about that. He's gonna get his comeuppance for being a dickhead. Yeah. Like every time I watch A Star Is Born, whichever version, I'm like, here we go. Because that's the other thing is like when he's terrible in that movie, it's sad and pathetic. Like whereas in this one, it's just kind of like, what are you doing?
Well, I've only seen the Gaga version,
right,
which I touch on in here. So I won't double. I'll come back to it if I need to because I might have already said it. So I did say I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever seen. I just think it somehow it feels both rushed and too crammed. Like, we're running, and none of the performances were necessarily terrible. But I think the script issues led to no one having any idea what was happening.
Yeah.
So they were like, I'm just going to read this sort of in a monotone voice and hope that it makes sense later. The editors will fix it. But as we know, I think if it's not on the page, it's probably not going to be on the screen.
It's not going to be on the screen.
And I think that issue was a little more evident with perhaps the less skilled actors. Because I think the ones who had maybe done a little more just had more to draw from.
Yeah.
They could just sell it
like
a little
Terrence
bit.
Howard is amazing. Like in every scene he's in, you're like, whoa, what's going on here? Like this guy's menacing. This guy's kind of sleazy and horrible. And manipulative, and also maybe his character was drawn better than anyone else's.
Yeah.
Like,
and you didn't really need to, you just kind of needed to know, oh, he's creepy. That's all I need to know.
But it's like, okay, he's manipulative. Because, even though Silk is his girlfriend, he's getting Billy to do the vocals. So that's a great character moment there.
Yeah, that's the kind of person he is.
You can play that. And, when he's threatening her and when he's threatening Dice, and like, you just go, yeah, I get him. Like, he's an easy character.
And he's got a simple motivation.
Yeah.
It's money.
Yeah. And Terrence Howard does some great work with him, and it's just, you're like, yep, he's great. Whereas Dice's motivations are confused.
Yeah, I kind of like her a bit, I guess.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned here, I said that it follows the very well-worn A Star Is Born style narrative, which can work, of course. But I think what they've done, they've gone, all right, that's what we're going to do. We're going to write a list of all the things that are in those kind of movies.
Yes.
And instead of just picking like, the young singer or the mean manager and the performance at the end, let's shove every one of them in.
All of them. We'll
do all of them. And then we don't have to write a script.
Yeah.
We'll just write that. And so I think what I wrote is in my poshnopsis that there was only one moment that I felt was completely genuine, which is when Bill Ryer tells Deuce to stop it.
Yeah.
Because I felt like...
Oh, and when she's blowing her nose at the toilet paper.
Of course. And it's not that there weren't other good moments from each person, but I felt that scene in the back of the limo, everyone kind of knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
And Mariah didn't look like she was sort of looking off to the side for direction.
Yeah.
Or going, have they even yelled action? I don't know.
Have we finished this?
Yeah. She was confused because she thought they were filming from the beginning to the end. That's not how it works. And I think the thing that stuck out to me for that moment, there was actual spark in the way she said it and the way it was edited and shot. Like, everything actually worked for that one moment together.
And it's weird that in a movie that has huge, big, like, some of those nightclub scenes are big and expensive. Like, there are a lot
Madison
of
Square
extras.
Garden?
Yeah.
Big.
Like, there's a lot of big scenes. But the best scene is in the back of a limo.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really small, insular, closed scene. And
it just felt like, they knew what was happening or they'd all been there before or whatever it was. And I think as far as the script weakness is probably the weakest thing about this.
Yeah.
But I thought...
And I think a part of that is trying to keep it PG. I think
yes,
anything that was vaguely kind of incendiary or meant that big emotions could play out and in a big way were diluted because it's like, well, they can't swear, they can't be violent, they can't, this can't happen, that can't happen, they can't, if they're going to have sex, it needs to be behind frosted glass really quickly. So, it feels like coming up with those weird inventive swear words in the back of the limo, which was possibly improvised. Because, like, there's nothing that fun in the rest of the script.
No, that's true.
Like, it's like maybe they just let Beasley off the chain. Like,
go on.
Like, come on, you're British. You've probably got some hilarious swear words.
Call it mouth. That'll get her. But I think the second biggest problem is the editing. And I don't think it's necessarily the editor's fault. I think what's happened is they've gone, this is awful. The only way we can get through it and this much fucking story, but no story, is to make it really quick edits. So it seems fast-paced.
You know what? I think also that was a thing that was happening around this time in cinema. Like, every movie felt like a really long trailer for 7 other movies. Like, I don't know if you've seen from around the same era the movie Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
No, that sounds awful.
With I think directed by Kenneth Branagh, who normally does great films. I think it's got Robert De Niro is the monster. Helena Bonham Carter's in it. But it feels like a trailer. It's just like quick cuts, bang, 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 bang. Like, the scenes are all so short and so hurried. You're like, well, I would love to see this movie whenever it comes out.
Yeah.
Even though I sat through a 90-minute trailer for it. But I think that was something that was happening in film at that time. And it
just made us miss It's not like you didn't know what was happening. But
Like, why did you spend all that money on the helicopter to fly over New York and have all those weird bridging shots that we didn't really need?
Yeah.
Like there were a lot of shots of New York from the sky for various
Because that's where they were.
Yeah, but it's like you say, it's like, oh, now we're shopping. Oh, now we're in the recording studio. And now we're here. And it's
even scenes where it's like the walk. Dice just got back from a walk and now he's walking again.
Yeah.
Like, and just going for a walk, not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So the other thing, as I said earlier, was knowing the soundtrack helped me enjoy it a bit more, but I don't think the songs were very well utilized in this movie. Like, I think other than huge Mariah Carey fans, people would have walked out going, what were the songs? Oh, there was the ballad and there was the other ballad. Oh, that was good too.
And the other ballad.
And there was Didn't Mean to Turn You On and Heart of Glass and a little bit of Loverboy.
Yeah.
Oh, well. It doesn't have the resonance that A Star Is Born, those songs, there was 2 songs and they stood out.
Yeah.
And it was not just because of the song. Like, the songs on Glitter are good. It's just they just didn't know how to sell it, I don't think.
Yeah.
And because you had no space between anything, you know, that final song, it's not a bad idea to have her go on, of course. And you don't even need to necessarily have dialogue.
Yeah.
You can pull together that she's like, well, I've got to get on with it. But have something. Have Debrat touch her hand or something that is kind of like, are you good? Like,
yeah. Because there was like, that's the other thing. Like, they're all meant to be her friends, but they felt more like an entourage. Like, they had they were just sort of there when she needed to move out from Dice, and they were just there when she needed to have friends when she had her cat at the kids' home. Like, they were just there. And they're also like, when they get boned from her video shoot, the next day it's like, oh yeah, sorry, let's go shopping. And it's like, there's no actual consequences. No one's really angry. Like, no one's really invested in it. And unless that, you know, like if they'd use that more as a counterpoint to go say, look, Dice, look how childish you're being, because they've both been cut from the video and they don't give 2 shits.
Yeah.
But you're being a petulant wanker because there's men with fire painted on them dancing around your girlfriend, which is her job. It was, I mean, I would that's the other thing. It's like, because it was PG, there was no way to kind of talk about the sexism that was going on, the exploitation that, you know, they were trying to...
Because she does say in that particular scene that she's not comfortable.
Yeah.
And, I joked that the rest of the outfit was completely see-through, so it didn't matter anyway. Yeah. But, it's sad that she didn't have the agency to say... I mean, she did, but not loud enough, and then Deuce has kind of come in and overdone it.
Can't you see she's uncomfortable?
And, it was all... And again, a well-thought-out script would have handled that really nicely, even in a PG setting.
The script felt like a first draft, and it needed it needed more work, and it could have been, and maybe the more adult draft was better, and sometimes when you get asked to make changes, and you're like, I don't want to make changes. I like it as it is. I think it's good. Yeah. And then you like, well, it has to be like this or it's just not going to happen. And so you do a shit job of the changes because you're like, I'd really like the fucking first version.
It's like you take out the things that they say, you don't really bridge it, sort of
whatever. And you're just like, you end up turning in a shit thing because it's like, well, if you want it to be shit, it's going to be shit. It's like, well, no, it can still be good in a PG movie. It's not, that's not a hard thing to do. Like, most musicals are PG.
But you have to want to, I suppose.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, it's not going to...
I mean, I don't know. I'm just hypothesizing that was what was going on. But
well, what we say on here is fact. So
yeah, that's exactly what happened.
But I do, I think, as you said about the friends, I think it's every single character in this movie, you don't care about them. Even Billy, you don't really care. Someone mentioned that she has no fun in this movie. Like... There's not a moment where she's really enjoying herself.
She seems to have fun when she's shopping.
Yeah.
In the goal.
In the 3 seconds we get of that.
She goes shopping.
But even as she's writing a song, like, we're acting emotion, but there's no, a performer loves it. And you get a moment. There wasn't even we got off stage, oh my God, that was the best show yet. Or nothing happens. So
it's like the only moment of joy she really has is showing off in the club.
Yeah.
When she gets to do that little vocal run.
And even and that's it. Like that should be the beginning. The rest of the movie should be stepping off of that. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's the climax. We've got a bit more to show you, though. We filmed
Yeah.
more.
I feel like that this was the first draft of her memoir, which is so much better because it's
Yes.
real. Like they're real stories about real people and things that happened. Whereas this is a fictionalized version.
Yeah.
And you can see the parallels to all the stuff in the book, which, I didn't know before. Like that scene in the club, that's clearly the moment with Brenda K. Starr at the radio concert. It was Jeffrey Osborne was singing, like went out to her.
Oh, was
She
it?
was like, that bit in the book where she did the singing and Will Smith
I remember. I
noticed
just
her.
I don't remember. I changed people's names.
But and then the same as like the lower record company coming to her, and it's like, well, that's the Def Jam moment when she could have had that gone on that career and had that trajectory, but she chose not to. She chose to hold on. Or in the movie, it's her who wants to go with the record label, and it's Dice going, no, we've got to save up for the big ones. So yeah, seeing all those things, and also the troubled relationship with her mother, like you go, oh, this is.
But you kind of forget that that's even a thing. It's the opening scene, and then Roxy mentions it and gets in trouble, and then by the way, here's a ring thing. This,
Yes.
and it doesn't feel real. None of it feels real, and you don't really care.
Yeah.
Like if it was like, oh yeah, mum, washed it up 13 years ago.
But
okay.
The other thing is, if her mum got clean, then why hasn't her mum come looking for
Why hasn't
her?
she come looking for her?
I know.
She has the number one song for 10 weeks,
and
she hasn't come looking for her.
Like when she went into care, why wasn't the father alerted? Like he obviously had a house and people and stuff.
Yeah.
Like there was, like
I
that's.
think it was a secret family. We can't find out.
Yeah, I know, but then like legally,
Yeah.
that's his kid.
Yeah.
And he would have to say, no, please put her into care, which,
Yeah.
like, I just, like, there's so much weird going on. Like, it's not.
And I think in all of that, you don't even really, like, so that final scene has no meaning because you don't care that Dice is dead. You don't really care if Billy's upset. You assume she is because she's sort of looking doe-eyed.
Weirdly, I care more about the psychic song that she wrote and got to perform.
Yeah.
I care more about the final product, and like, even though it makes no sense, it's the only emotional beat that I get is the key change in that song.
Yeah. So what I wrote to sort of wrap it up was that ultimately I don't think it's good, but it's not bad enough to be so bad that it's good. In a way. Like you don't sit there and go, oh my God, this is ridiculous. And I think what could have helped that is when it became this PG 10-year-old aimed version, the character of Billy should have become what the caricature of Mariah Carey is now.
Yeah.
A camp, over-the-top diva instead of the doe-eyed innocent. Because that makes sense if you're telling the real story of what happened to Mariah. But you don't even really want to be Billy at all.
No.
You're meant to want to kind of be the person and live that fantasy, but she's not even living it, and not in a dramatic way. It's just like, it's almost like, the Little Mermaid got legs and then she just sat in the water for the movie. Yeah. Anyway.
I know. And it's, I like the attempt it's making to subvert the paradigm of the small girl becomes a star, becomes a monster. Yeah. Like, instead of that, it's like, he becomes a monster. Like, the people around you change, but you stay the same person.
It's not even so much about her becoming a monster. She could still be...
No, but I'm saying this film, he becomes a monster and she just hasn't changed at all. And it's like, well, where's her progression? Where's, like, she's meant to be our hero. Where's her growth and where's her change? Like, she's just a good singer.
And I think that's the thing. If you're not going to have progression because it's whatever, that's you need a sparkly diamond of a star, which she is in real life, but the character isn't. There's sort of nothing aside from the voice special about her at all. She doesn't really seem to have any interest in her own career. I don't have any dreams, which I get being from the foster system, or the that makes sense, but it's not really even an emotional, I don't have any dreams. It's just kind of like, no, I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the script.
I probably would have liked the story better if she was the self-destructive one and he was constantly trying to get her back on her feet, and then he got shot, and then she realized she could stand on her own 2 feet without him. Like that kind of would have been a more...
And she shot him. It's like, I guess I'm fine.
But him just being an asshole and me tooing her for an entire movie and then getting shot, you're like, yeah, good.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And I think just what I meant, earlier with saying it's not so bad that it's good is that it's camp because we make it camp, but
you know what? There's a half-hour version of this film which is great.
Yeah.
And because it kind of races along like a trailer, but then there's whole songs.
But then a whole bunch of not whole songs. Like you kind of forget as well. It's like, oh yeah, that song was on the movie, on the album, but not the movie. Yeah,
I would. Yeah, I used to make people watch it because this is like my first DVD that I bought. Like I got when I first got a DVD player. This was my first DVD, so I played with it a lot. And so when people would come over to my house and everyone would be drunk, and at one point I go, okay, we're watching Glitter now. And God. I had a half-hour edit down on the DVD with the skip button.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now this happens.
I'd be like, oh yeah, and so they have a fight. Anyway, now she sings and cries. Reflections. Here we go.
This is the good one.
And
I think that's
the cat's back. Everyone look.
Yeah. I think that's the only way you can sort of watch this movie. In terms of like, if it's not that I'd never watch it again, but it would have to be in that kind of scenario where it's like a fun, but you're not even really watching it to make fun of it.
No,
it's not that bad. No. So it's kind of, it lives in this weird space of, well, it's not good, but it's not bad in a hilarious way.
Yeah.
There's funny things, but only because we're funny.
And you can see Mariah's trying, and there are some moments where she's great and some moments where it's like you haven't been given any direction here at all.
And I think that's what kind of falls flat with Billie is she, I think she wanted to do a good job and tries to play it straight, which would have worked really well in the gritty version.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. She just seems boring in this version.
Yeah, if you're going to do PG, you've got to go full pantomime.
Yes, exactly. Which one person does.
One person does.
And I was going to say, I talked about an MVP for the movie, of which I would like to nominate The Publicist.
The Publicist, and Magnuson is just going hell for leather.
Oh my God, because I believed everything that came out of her mouth, and I have heard it all from a publicist. Like that, and that's the pantomime. But like many publicists are like that, so I believed it. I was like that. And she was chewing that scenery every minute that she was in it.
Like I think she's up there with Terrence Howard is also.
I was going to say, would you like to nominate? Well, not. They've
already won. My MVP is Terrence Howard because he's terrifying in that scene.
Yeah,
he's manipulative and he's creepy and he's a great I think that character is the best written character in the movie.
Do you know what movie I want to see now? Publicist and Terrence Howard are on it together. And they're bringing it down. They are bringing them down.
Oh, they both hate guys.
They do. That's the movie I want to see.
He's paid off the publicist. There you go.
Because she just popped up and she's super friendly.
Yeah.
And just suddenly she's like, I'm in charge of the
busies.
Publicist. I know. That's the movie. That's Glitter 2.
Glitter 2.
We've just solved it.
Yep.
But I think, surprisingly, we've managed to break it on down.
We have. In 2 episodes. That was amazing for us.
Yeah. Amazing. And so we are thinking we might do a little, if we can figure it out, technologically speaking, where we just sit down, we press play at the same time, and we just talk. And then people at home, you can do the same and listen to our commentary. For anyone who doesn't want to do that, just skip it. I mean, actually, don't. Just listen, because it'll probably still be stupid and hilarious.
Well, there is a director's commentary on the DVD.
Is it by us?
No.
Did we already do it?
Should be. We should repackage.
And the bonus feature is your commentary of Almost Home. Can't wait to have an episode entirely on that song.
Just on Almost Home.
Because it's not on an album.
That song, that epic moment.
In our lives, let alone just the song itself.
All right. Well, next week we will have possibly this glitter special.
Yeah.
Or it may be the week after. We'll see. We'll see how we go with our technological hookup.
We would love to do it live, but there's so many countries involved.
I know.
Different time zones, so you can just do it whenever you like.
Yeah. We'll just tell you when to hit play, and then you'll know to hit play. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
It'll be easy.
At the end of the podcast, baby. Almost there, almost home. You could probably say, but you won't because of copyright. That's a no.
Well, then now that we've finished our epic trawl through the glitter years, our next proper episode will be heading into the emancipation.
Emancipated.
Oh, I'm so excited about getting emancipated. So that will be coming up in the next few weeks. Thank you so much for being here and enjoying glitter with me.
So fun. I quite enjoyed it. I should just write things about movies all the time.
I know. It was. I love a poshnopsis. It was the biggest poshnopsis of all time.
It was big. I hope it was worth it.
Don't worry. We've got even worse films to come. When you wait till we get to a melody for Christmas.
A Lacey Chabert for Christmas.
A special lighting for me for Christmas.
Yeah, no one else. All lighting. Everyone else.
All right. Bye, Emily.
Bye.